Hello, hi everybody. I hope that you are well and welcome to your October Sagittarius love horoscope. My name is Bella, and if you're watching me for the first time, most people know me as Bella the Secret Psychic, and this is your daily or monthly, I should say, reading. And if you're watching me for the first time, I don't use cards. I'm a psychic, so I get my information from spirit and I interpret it to give you the best kind of information that you can kind of work with in regards particularly to your love life for this month. So, as most of you know, I don't like to waste time, but if you do like to know more about me and my services, of course, all the links are just down below. When I was looking at yours in particular, and because this is general, I'm trying to cover quite a broad scope of things that the symbols that my guides are giving me would indicate. So they're saying this reading is for Sagittariuses that have either a long distance relationship or has somebody who their partnered with who travels away for periods at a time with their work, for example, or the other set of circumstances. But basically what I get is that your significant person that you are connected to by heart is going to, in the month of October, be distant from you. So they're going away, and it's going to require you to have a bit of trust, a bit of faith, a bit of understanding, but mainly strength, because it's not like they're going to go away for a week. Like, the way I'm feeling is like this is somebody's going to be away in another country or another county or another state for a long period of time, like minimum 6 weeks, could be several months. But particularly in this month, they seem to be away from the majority of it, or it's the start of that journey. And or you already have somebody who you are connected to that is a long distance relationship, and in this month there is something about this month in particular that requires you to have a lot more trust and faith, because it seems to pull at you a little bit more emotion, that you're either missing them or it just like you're hitting a wall in terms of, oh, can I do this long-term relationship? This is the message I'm getting, that for a lot of Sagittarius, you're like, and the thing is, it could be you that's going away and you still needing to have the strength about whether I can trust leaving that person by themselves, whether the relationship's going to work, whatever set of circumstances this is. It could be your partner had to go and look after their elderly mother, and they're going to be away for a while, and it's the emotional separation. For some of you it would have been planned, some of you it will be sudden, but there is something about this month where you need to trust the distance. Now, the other way I can interpret this is that perhaps you already have somebody who is distant from you. Maybe you broke up from them, and you are trusting that what's happening is a process, and that you need to have faith that they're going to come back to you. But overall, this whole entire month is shown about you having emotional strength about being separated from your heart's desire, whether it is made because of work, personal circumstances, or whether because they removed themselves from you. Distance has been created in this month, and it is definitely bothering your mind. Like I said, I think for a few of you, it could be that it's you that have removed yourself from the other person, but it still creates the same set of circumstances where two things comes up. You feel like you need to emotionally be strong, but also you're wondering whether you can trust them being, away from you, or trust that it will work because there is distance. It could be that person's going to university. In fact, now I think about it, it's probably the perfect time, because a lot of people are starting university and college around September, October. You could be separated in that kind of way too. If you're single, I feel in this month, particularly as it's the month before we lead up to the Mercury retrograde, that a lot of you will be thinking about past lovers again, where there is some kind of distance, maybe even have contact from them, which is why maybe it's stirring up this emotional response in you, but also why you might be thinking, oh, well, they're back, do I trust them? It could be the prelude before November's retrograde, where they then want to fully step back. And So your journey this month is around you probably being observant about how you emotionally react in that situation, because how we respond can make something good or bad. But also, sorry, I'm talking and my camera's frozen and I have no idea. It's back now. I have no idea whether that filmed it or not, so I'm going to watch this back. So I hope you heard what I said. What I basically said is you in this month are going to be looking to see whether you know, to moderate your own emotional response, but also to see whether you can trust somebody. So I'm going to look at this now a little bit week by week to see whether your fears are warranted. If I'm being honest with you right now, it feels like it is not warranted for the majority of you, that this is a lesson a little bit from the universe about why are you winding yourself up, like you needing to have a bit of faith in this connection, regardless of them going away from the military, whether they've gone to college, you know, whether you've had to go away. That right now, at this precise moment before me looking at it week by week, I'm not getting alarm bells like I normally would, so that's a good sign. In the first week, in particular in August, that's why I see a lot of movement happening. This is where the height of you feeling like whether you can trust the situation seems to be at its peak moment. So when I do readings, it's pretty much to help you in advance to either avoid something or prepare for something. This would be the same for this, because you can prepare for this, but also I would say to you, until something is broken or until that person's done something, why worry? Why give that energy to the universe? Why tell the universe that's what you want? Because remember, law of attraction, what we think, what we put out there, we are likely to get back to us. And sometimes that can happen because we start to behave weird because of it. We get paranoid, we start arguing, we start being needy or controlling, that then bring about our own doom. Don't do that. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, not a good thing. Second week, there is a thing where you again are shown as needing communication, wanting communication to kind of tame this internal worry, and to feel connected to that person. You feel like you want to feel connected to that person, and communication is the key. Again, be very mindful about, and I say this because I'm a Sagittarius, and this is quite unusual for Sagittarius to get needy like this. So there's definitely something astrologically in the energy. But they're saying here, just temper it, tame it, because you could know there's a need to want to keep a bond and keep closeness, and then there is too much. Like, I don't know how much is too much, because it's a perspective. Like, maybe you've called them that morning, and maybe you called them in the evening. You might even FaceTime them. Sorry, I had to cut the video a little bit because you could probably hear that, and I've had to slice this together because I knew, because I did do these in one take, that postman would come. Postman came. That's this, I guess, the annoying thing about being psychic. Listen to oneself. Anyway, you know what would have happened though if I just waited until the postman came? Then he wouldn't have come. You know how it is. Anyway, before I was really interrupted by the postman, what I was saying to you is, I was trying to give an example. I was trying to say, like, if you call them in the morning, evening, maybe that's fine. But then if you like call them every hour, message them, you know, send them stickers, like, I don't know, be over the top. It's not cool, and could do harm in two ways: to yourself, your mental health, and also to that person, because that's a lot of pressure. Again, there could be a small number of you where it's the other way around, where your person's trying to trust you. Just understand where it's coming from and just be direct, and probably make sure you reinforce your feelings so that they don't feel that way. But if I'm being honest with you, Sagittarius, because I can say that because I am a Sagittarius, it's shown the other way round. In the third week, I think you're better, because it feels like then it becomes normality. So my guides are giving me a story about when my son, when he was starting, well, no, he wasn't, he was about 10, I think. And it was the first time I was letting him walk to school by himself. And the first few days when he walked to school by himself, he wasn't really by himself because I followed him just to make sure that he would cross the roads properly, that he got there, because it was the first time, you know, nervous mum. And eventually, after 3 or 4 days that I saw that he wasn't, you know, going to throw himself in front of a car or talk to strangers, you know, I think the only annoying thing he used to do was every time he saw a cat, he would stop and stroke it for about 3 minutes. And I'd be like, hurry up, get to school. Like in my head, not to him. But after a few days, I stopped doing it because I had to let that go, and he was fine. And he was always fine. This is where you get to in week 3. You get to a place where you're just like, why am I worrying? Why did I spend 2 weeks? And this is the point of this reading, because they're saying you can avoid those 2 weeks of anxiety and trying to feel like you need to trust them, because the more I'm going through these weeks, there is absolutely nothing for you to worry about. And I think this has been highlighted because actually you, and I'm sorry to say this, guys, but I like to give an honest readings, it is you that could taint the water in this relationship by being too much. Now let's give another example. What happens if you've had this past lover come back, somebody you really feel connected to? You probably definitely will feel highly anxious about whether you can trust them or not, or whether it's going to work, because they went before. So it is, your brain will naturally want to go to panicking and being super intense, you know, etc. Try to avoid it if you can, because you will settle. No alarm bells get rung. You seem to settle back into a normal routine in both your life as well as in communication with that person. Everything seems fine. And as I'm going on even more, as we get to the last week, you seem really happy. Like you get into a groove that you understand that that person's temporarily gone, or maybe they've gone really long term, but you've got into a groove of how things are and that nothing has changed. And that's the most important message from this reading. So an unusual one, because it kind of places you in the spotlight of, my guys wanted to help you manage your anxiety over a matter, and everybody's circumstances will be obviously slightly different. But they're saying here, be stronger, you know, have a bit more self-worth, self-confidence about who that person is to you and what you mean to that person. Particularly even if they've come back for a reason, because you're awesome, all right? So that's the message. So again, sorry for the little break in this, but, you know, it can't be helped. Happens sometimes, otherwise I'll never get my videos done if I have to restart again. And plus I do these in one take because the message is fresh. But if you'd like to dive deep a little bit more into your own personal circumstances, I do give private readings and the links are just down below. You all have an amazing October wherever you are in the world, and I love to hear from you, so do comment, do share, or join me on my Facebook page, and I will see you all again soon. Take care. Bye.